Are you still waiting for the perfect time to invest in property in the UK? What if I told you that time is now? Because the UK housing market is offering a unique set of opportunities that we haven't seen in years. And this could be probably the perfect moment for you to build your property portfolio. But there is a catch. There is only a small window of opportunity. So stick around, because in this video, I want to share with you 5 key reasons why you should act fast, and also the type of investors that are making the most of the housing market. Stay tuned. The reason number 1 is that there is so much more stock available for sale than ever before. In fact, since the autumn budget was announced, we saw that there was 84,000 new homes listed on the market for sale within the first 2 weeks. That's right, and that brings an increase of 84,000 homes, bringing that to a grand total of more than 823,000 homes collectively. Regions like Scotland, the North East, but also London have seen some of the biggest increases of over 12%, and cities like Glasgow and Nottingham have actually seen some of the biggest boost in listings. And reason number 2 is that there is less competition. Of course, it is noted that buyer demand has started to recover throughout the year, and this is mainly because of those mortgage interest rates that started to adjust. However, it isn't as intense as those years that we saw just after COVID once lockdown was lifted. That being said, when we look at the sales agreed, it's been 26% increase, and this is on year. However, with the amount of stock that's come onto the market, buyers currently do have the upper hand, and this is despite this artificial buyer demand that the government has created, with buyers trying to beat that stamp duty deadline. Naturally, this has an impact on property prices. In fact, if we look at the month of November, we can see that there's a dip of 1.4% in house prices across the country. This is larger than your usual seasonal dip. And when we look at average asking prices, £360,000, and there's room for negotiation on that as well. But we've been told that this drop won't last. In fact, experts predict that there's going to be a 4% rise in house prices for 2025. So time is limited and you've got to act fast if, of course, you're going to believe what the experts say. And if you are looking to invest in property right now, make sure you follow the link on the description. We have a network of professional agents across the country and we'll be happy to help you. So this might not come as a surprise to you, but smaller casual landlords have been selling up and selling up fast. In fact, if we look at over the last 12 months, we can see that 19% of landlords have been selling their properties. And if we look to the next 12 months, it's predicted that 49% of them will go on to sell their properties as well. Why? Well, there are several reasons for this, but I'm going to put this down to 2 main factors. The first one being the introduction of Section 24, which has been very painful, especially for those landlords who haven't set up their properties in a limited company. So what this means is if you haven't set your property business as a company, you can no longer offset your mortgage interest as a cost. The second reason is all the scaremongering in the media, especially when it comes to the Renters' Rights Bill. And this has scared and spooked a lot of landlords. In fact, this means more opportunities for investors like you, who can go on to acquire more properties and more often than none at discounted prices, and especially in those areas that are in high demand for rental properties. The fact that the UK property market shifts so quickly absolutely means you should subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a thing. And here's the bonus for those buy-to-let investors who decide to stay in the market. Rental demand is soaring. In fact, there is a chronic shortage of rental properties. Now, we couldn't thank partly the Labour Party because the changes that they've implemented right now has accelerated landlords and selling more of those properties. And I'm not a big fan of rental prices going sky high, because what we've seen, those double digits over the course of the last 3 years, is not sustainable. It's not good for the market, landlords, or tenants. But the reality is there is that supply and demand balance, and it's not balanced. That's the reality of things. And get this, landlords who let properties in the southeast experience the highest level of demand, with 84% of landlords saying they experience high demand over the same quarter. And although the speed at which rental price increase has started to slow down, that is a slowdown, not a decrease, we are expecting for rental prices to continue to increase in every region in the UK. For you, this means some great opportunity for your rental yields to increase as well. And there are different types of property investors. Meet James, the speculator, who's been waiting for the perfect time to do a buy-to-let in the last 10 years. This was approaching the announcement of Brexit, and James thought, I'm just going to wait and see what the outcome is. Of course, little did he know that then we had COVID. Following that, we had the Liz Truss turmoil, followed by inflation and mortgage hikes. Now he's still waiting on the sidelines to see what the outcome of the Renters' Rights Bill. All the while he's been missing out in, of course, capital growth and cash flow. Now here's the truth, you can never perfectly time the property market, but the reality is that long-term property investment is a proven way to build generational wealth. And if we ask ourselves, why do buy-to-let investors continue to be in the market? Now, there was a recent study about this, and what we found was several things. Long-term rental demand. In fact, 60% of those landlords surveyed put this down as a reason to stay in the market or expand their portfolio. The other one is retirement. Over 50% are going to be using property to fuel their retirement income. Capital appreciation, which is the big one. And of course, a preference for property over other assets. It's tangible and it's a way to pass on to their children. I hope this is helpful. And if you want to find out the 5 taxes that almost killed the UK property market, make sure you follow the link on the description, but also above.